right, roll call, Finance Committee, please. Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Gwaltney?
Here.
Mr. Alderman?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Harden? All present but Mr. Harden.
Okay. Thank you. We got the committee meeting minutes from September 19th and 25th. I'll entertain a motion to dispense with the reading and approve both of those as distributed.
So moved.
Counselor Smith, Counselor Alderman made the second. Any other questions, comments on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign. That is 4-0 on both of those.
Oh, do we need to do, did we do the budget hearing too?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That was a double motion? Yeah, that's totally how I
That was a
meant
double
it.
motion. That's right.
That's totally what I meant.
We approved both of those. Okay, old business 250417, request for consideration of 18th Street revitalization project.
Councilman Jones, Hollis isn't
Oh,
here
there you are.
tonight.
Yeah, I was looking for him.
Yeah, he's not here. Bad news about Hollis is that they're gonna move him to Greenville, South Carolina for temporarily. to work on this project.
He's not gonna commute and come to our meetings?
He might,
Same
if
here.
you ask him.
No.
So they're still working through who that contact is gonna be, but for tonight,
Okay.
they wanted me to let you know that landscaping is going in and irrigation has been installed along 18th Street. Valley is about, the segment of Valley is about 50% complete. We met out there with the city of Birmingham, so Birmingham has a project also that's coming up, Richard Airy, some Vulcan. And we're trying to coordinate some things, and there's a possibility that Birmingham replaces all four of the signal poles
Oh,
at that intersection, which would be wonderful.
yeah.
That's great.
So they might do that. 50% is about done at Valley. They're kind of gonna stand still while they coordinate with Birmingham and also with Birmingham Water Works. And that's it. Everything's going great.
Okay, good.
Okay. Any questions? There will be a different light at that intersection with the right turn lane, correct? I mean, or will it be the same light? I mean, will there be an upgraded signal?
There will be an upgraded signal at, so there are 5 signals. There are 2 if you're heading east on Valley. There's that awkward intersection.
Yeah, right by
And
Vulcan.
so the one furthest to the west is our pole. It's
Okay.
maintained by the city of Birmingham. They're gonna get we're gonna install a new pole.
Got it, okay.
And they're putting in a right turn lane.
Awesome.
Okay, we're gonna carry this over for our next report. Thank you.
From to be determined.
Yep, exactly. Okay, 1609-22, request for consideration of Chamber of Commerce update. Ms. Drennan asked if we could carry this over one time. She's getting some final numbers from all of the wonderful summer events that happened. So there'll be some updated numbers that she wanted to put together for the World Games
Well,
specifically.
I attended the downtown business owners meeting last week. It was really interesting. They had a good group. They were talking mostly about the holiday, events and stuff. But it was a really good meeting, and I got some feedback from some business owners that JJ and I have been working to try to do some stuff down there for them. So
Good, okay. So we'll get a full report at our next committee meeting in 2 weeks. So without objection, we'll carry that over for Ms. Drennan. Okay, 1709-22, request to authorize the mayor to sign Shades Creek Greenway Phase 2 CE&I contract with GMC. And do you have a report on this, Mr. Smith? And I believe that you distributed the information in general, the contract, all that.
Okay, so you don't want me to go through all this?
If you'd like to for the committee, yeah, I think that would probably be
It would be helpful. Okay.
Yeah.
thank you, Caleb.
This is just a kind of a narrative of where we are, how we got here. Who else on the finance? I didn't send you this, Frank. So, the request is for the mayor to sign the Shades Creek Greenway Phase 2 CE&I contract. So CE&I is construction, engineering, and inspection, and it's required on all OutDOT projects. This one is a Cmac project, which has a couple of nuances to it, but we currently have budgeted $540,000 for the fiscal year. The thing about the CE&I contract is that we've already paid 100% of these funds to OutDOT when we sent in the $1.766 million. So on the sheet that I just handed out, you can see kind of how the breakdown is of how we came to that $1.766 million. We paid, you'll see at the top, 50 plus 15% for CE&I, which is the max allowed by OutDOT. So what OutDOT did was they got the bids, and then they added 15% for CE&I, and then added another 13.6% for indirect costs, and then charged us 20% of the whole thing, of the whole package. So we sent them the 20% of the whole package, which included 15% for CE&I. So we've already paid for all the CE&I costs. OutDOT holds the contract with a construction company, and we hold the contract with a CE&I group that we choose. So we've chosen GMC to perform the work. They were the designers on the project. And then some notes at the bottom. So we've actually already paid 20% of $1,013,000. And so if at the end of the project, GMC's contract, if we land on 709,614.35, which is what they proposed to us, then we'll be reimbursed 20% of that difference.
And Cale, tell them, we started with GMC at what percentage and where did they come down to on CE&I?
So their original proposal was for 809,614.35,
Right.
and they reduced that amount by 100,000.
Yeah.
So I think it's around 10.5%.
Yeah, I think it was like at 13 something
It
percent.
was like
and
12 and down to 10.
Down to 10 and a
So
half.
down to 10.5, so
Yeah.
really good faith effort on their
Yeah,
part.
and I do want to
help
thank,
us.
I want to thank Gary Owen and GMC for making that effort to bring that cost down. That was really much appreciated by the
Yes.
city.
Right.
Yep.
Are we gonna continue to see the state come in and put their 15% plus their additional, I guess, 13% for indirect costs on every project?
On CMAC projects.
We just never were told this was CMAC.
Apparently it's different.
Yep, it's a unique
Yeah.
What
federal.
does CMAC stand for?
Congestion mitigation, air quality,
Something.
something like that.
Whatever OutDOT deems it.
Quality, yeah.
But I don't remember, was the first phase CMAC or no?
I don't know.
I don't think it was.
Okay, but so we've already, so this is 100% reimbursable. So this agenda item is just really to
Sign the
authorize the
contract.
mayor to sign the contract.
And I would make a motion to do that.
Okay, moved by Counselor Smith, second by Counselor Allen.
No.
Any other questions about that? Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed by the same sign. That's 5-0 now. Okay, 2609, request for consideration of financial incentives for Piggly Wiggly development. We've got Murray Legg here and many representatives from Piggly Wiggly. So what I'd like to do, if possible, if you could provide a little bit about the development, and then I was going to have our council president kind of go over what has been negotiated, and then Mr. Kendrick can add any further comments to it. But I wanted for everyone to kind of see what the development looks like.
Thank you, sir. I
Here's
appreciate it.
copies of the contracts if anybody needs those.
Appreciate it very much. As you're aware, the Piggly Wiggly is existing up here on the corner of 31 and Oxmoor. They're currently in about 14,500 square feet, and they would like to enlarge. We are representing McConnell White and Terry, who was the owner. They have purchased this piece back here where you see the new Piggly Wiggly store that will go in. They've also purchased Cameron's Corners, and they also own the land with CVS is. So they own that entire square right there. And so what we're asking and working with McConnell White Terry and Andy from the Piggly Wiggly folks is they need a new store. They've outgrown this store. And so our plan is to move them back here behind the CVS. The store will be designed where it has entrances closer to the side there, so you'll be able to have a great line of sight here. During this process, they will remain open until this store is built. The CVS will remain open. And then they will move it to this store. At the same time that he's doing this, he's also going to redo Cameron's Corners to make it look very nice and upgraded and updated. Right now, we're in the process of working with CVS to try to get them to relocate to the corner where the Piggly Wiggly is existing. And so we haven't had a whole lot of success at that right now, but we're trying very hard to get them to do it. But that is pretty much what the plan is. And this will go from 14,500 to about 25,500. And if you've seen their store in Bluff Park or Crestline, it's going to be of that size.
And what would you like to do with the form if CVS moves?
I'm sorry.
Do you have a sense of what you'll do with the space that CVS
I
is
see.
currently
It'll be
in?
parking.
It would be
Become
parking, I would
parking,
assume,
okay.
yeah.
Where
I
the
think it
Piggly
would
Wiggly
be.
is,
Or the CVS, you would make that all parking?
yes, it'll be parking, and it will increase and it will better the parking field. Correct.
You're gonna improve the parking at Cameron's Corner because that is the worst lot in the entire city.
I'm sorry, I can't.
I said improve the parking at Cameron's Corner because that is the worst parking in the entire
Well,
city.
it looks like there's parking along the back too. See, they've added parking on that back
Right,
side too.
Right. There is actually parking there now.
Oh,
In the back.
Oh, really?
It is the
There
worst
is.
parking in the entire city.
Oh, yeah, that front part is scary. I
If you
know
can get
it's my
CVS
issue.
to move, I'm gonna give you a big.
Well, how about a big hug?
They did it in Crestline. Isn't that exactly what they did? They moved the CVS into the old Piggly Wiggly in Crestline.
And if you have any contacts that we can call that we haven't already.
Charles and I have had a lot of discussion.
I'm sure you have. But as I said, that's just an ongoing process in trying to get them to move to the corner, which
Yeah.
would really make this a great corner of
Yeah.
retail.
Okay. Mr. White, I'll let you provide a summary of kind of where we are with this and your thoughts.
Yeah, so we met with the whole Piggly Wiggly team and developers a few times to try to talk to them about what they about this project, what they wanted, what they needed out of it, how they're going to make it work. After going around a few times, we ended up with the agreement that was circulated to the finance committee, and basically, this is the way we looked at it. You know, the pig is a unique. Walter laughs at me because in the meeting I said the pig is a different kind of animal, and I didn't even know I said it. So told him I'm so good at dad jokes I don't even recognize when I'm doing them. But the pig is a different thing for Homewood. It is integrated into the community. It gives to the schools all the time. You know, it's a unique thing. I told Andy a story about my kids showing up at closing time. They closed out the registers but needed eggs for the morning, and they said, "Take your eggs, bring us back the money tomorrow." You know, that just doesn't happen in a lot of places, and the pig is something that is unique within our community, and is something that, at least from my personal perspective, is something that we want to make sure stays here, stays in this general location, and something that can improve and allow them to improve, allow them to have a bigger store, allow them to offer more to their customers, and therefore enhance Homewood, as well as provide a better parking way to get in and out and all of that stuff. So what we came up with was, at the same time, we recognize that it's important, or we think it's important to recognize that we're getting money from Piggly Wiggly right now. This is different from Target, for example, where everything was new money. And so the way we structured this was that we would take a baseline year of what we're essentially getting now, and we will continue to get that. Nothing will change that. Any increase in sales tax revenue that they get will be rebated to them up to a cap of $3.5 million for how many years? 9 years?
10 years.
10 years. 10 years. But it'll be capped at 3.5 million. And again, this is just new sales tax revenue that shows up. So it means that we keep getting the money that we're getting, and continuing our revenue and getting, that we're not affecting our budget, but we are providing help in getting a new and better Piggly Wiggly that will then, after they hit this cap or the 10 years, and I hope it's the cap before we hit 10 years, but that we will, for a long time, the city will have Piggly Wiggly continue to be part of this community and will continue to offer greatly to its tax base. So, I think this is a positive deal. I'll also note this, it doesn't affect ad valorem, and it doesn't affect permits and construction materials. It is just sales tax. So that's what is before you. That's the deal that we've got. If anyone's got any questions about it, I'm happy to. Yeah.
What happens if CVS does not agree to move?
So CVS, y'all tell me if I get this wrong. CVS has another 10 years? 11 years of a lease there. So I can't tell you what happens. If they don't agree, they stay there for another 11 years. And then the parking is shifted up there. Now, what happens after 11 years is 11 years down the road, and who knows what happens at that point.
I will tell you that as we are sitting here, speaking of that egress, as we are literally sitting here talking about this, there's an accident with injuries that just happened. Deputy Chief Broadhead can confirm it just happened at that right there.
Yeah.
The moment you got up to speak is when they made the call.
Yeah.
Really?
So it is terrible. I mean, the egress and ingress is just awful there.
Yeah.
It would be wonderful in my mind if CVS would decide to move. Obviously,
Yeah.
we don't have any control over that, and even they only have, don't have a whole lot of control over it either for the next 11 years, other than to just negotiate. So, but I think it would be wonderful if CVS would move up there. If they don't, I suspect that eventually something else will get the benefit of that corner, but that's up to landowner and CVS.
What's currently there, where the new store's gonna go?
For the
It's
most
just-
part, it's
it's
just empty
empty.
land.
It's just empty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's where the dumpsters are, yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
saw
just-
that.
it's like that, there's like a
Gravel
gravel
parking.
lot and, yeah, just a bunch of trees.
Oh.
Y'all are gonna.
One other quick thing, this part of this, we will vacate Drake Street. So that'll just be part of the
Part of the development.
development. It's not gonna operate differently, but we'll vacate it as part of the development.
And I do like the fact that the existing store is gonna stay open the whole time.
Correct.
Because
Yeah.
people would lose their minds
Yeah.
if it wasn't open, so I
If
love the fact that it's gonna
If I
stay
couldn't
open.
drive 4 blocks to the Pig, I would be in trouble.
That's right. Okay. Questions on the proposal?
Around stormwater, right, is there anything that can be done to, I know that may not be part, but just long-term thinking as the construction and development is being done, are we doing anything as we're adding concrete? I know it's all impermeable right now, but is there any ways that we can start thinking about these projects adding some amelioration for stormwater?
So based on our new ordinance, they will have to do that. But they're, to your point, they're not to the permitting phase yet.
But I think in that new ordinance, they'll have to do some sort of detention, something.
Depending on what
the size of the lot,
yeah,
what all they're doing. But I
Depending
think
on what the
they'll-
findings are when they submit the
All
plans.
this has to be done at the time to get permits.
Right.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Thank you.
But yes, it will be part of the permitting process, just like any other project.
Well, I know that y'all worked on this and put a lot of thought into structuring it in a way that would be obviously beneficial to the city and also beneficial to the Piggly Wiggly folks, so that we do get to keep that store. I mean, I can't not go to the grocery store and see Frank. I mean, what would I do? It would be weird.
And I'll mention this one last thing.
Yeah.
We'll have to set this for a public
Public
hearing,
hearing.
so we'll do that. If y'all go ahead and send it out, we'll set the
Monday
public
night.
hearing on Monday night for whenever the earliest is. 24th.
Okay.
So it'll be set for October 24th.
Okay,
on Monday
all right.
night.
Well, I would make a motion, if no one else has any other questions, I would make a motion to approve and
Some, second.
set the public hearing.
Councilor Smith, motion, Counselor Allen seconded. Any other questions on that? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign, 5-0, that passes.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, 270622, adoption of ordinance designated annual holiday for employees. Counselor Allen had brought this up earlier in the year.
Yeah, during
And
budget.
then, was it last, earlier in the year, and then at the end of our budget process, so we talked about this during budget hearings, and then Mr. Burgett distributed our last ordinance from the year 2000 that we had established our holiday. So the discussion during budget hearings was to just substitute the President's Day and move Juneteenth as the new holiday. So that was what was handled at finance, so that would really not require any, there's no financial impact. It would just be having a holiday in June as opposed to
Who doesn't want a
January.
holiday in the Friday in June as opposed to
Yeah.
Monday in February?
So that is what is before us, and that was the discussion, and so we felt like we needed to add it here,
Poor Lincoln.
because it is an ordinance, we have to.
Correct. The, everything you just said was correct. That was a discussion in budget hearing, and so and the idea was to
Swap.
them.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Lots of seconds.
Counselor
Everyone.
Gilmore, second by Counselor Harden. Any other questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign, 5-0. Okay, I don't think there's anything else at this point, so with that, we're adjourned.